To avoid future misconceptions, I'm going to state the hypothesis of this video. Anime is no different in its potential quality than any other form of animation, but by sequestering the anime community from the general online community, harmful people have claimed ownership of anime. Anime in and of itself is also capable of harm and should be criticized for it, but Japan is not inherently more regressive than America or any other country. Understood? So, what's an anime? No one seems to actually flip-flap and know. Like, are these anime? Does anyone outside of Japan even know or care about the Breadman? Okay, I know some of the general consensus on these examples. I'm just making a point. Do I need to show my anime credentials? Fine. Ahem. Most American cartoons from the 2010s were aimed at kids or at adults who think things like sexual harassment are funny. Designs were simplistic to be cheap, and sometimes outright unappealing for reasons unknown to man. Most of these cartoons were episodic comedies, with some educational stuff for toddlers, and there weren't many more options. So that pretty much explains why I got into anime as a 13-year-old. It's got teen appeal interwoven at every facet. Drama, arousal, and violence are all just everything the hormonal cocktail of a juvenile human being craves. I remember waiting for the moment I turned 14 so I could watch Soul Eater on a DVD borrowed from my siblings' friends. I like anime. But other cartoons have begun to broaden their horizons, tackling hard issues, trying different styles, and more overarching plot lines. All those things that made anime different, better than them. Which leads me to wondering, Japanese people call all animation anime. So why is everyone else making a distinction between the two? Especially since no one can even agree on what exactly makes them distinct. It's not a style, or a genre, and it's not about country of origin either. So, do we even need the term anime? What is unique enough about anime to warrant its use in our vocabulary, instead of just calling it cartoons? Oh yeah, that... It's not in every anime, it's just... We've all seen stories where, to use their powers, the characters have to wear lingerie, drink breast milk, touch a crotch, get in doggy style, etc., etc. And it's all shown in gratuitous detail. The sexuality is just there for the presumed immature straight male audience without any concern for narrative. Even worse is that it's called fan service when it's just pervert pandering. I know, it's for the teens, but no, that does them a disservice by saying that they only want to watch panty shots of high schoolers. Why is that a common trope? Let's put a pin in that and talk about tropes and how they're everywhere. It's kind of a bad thing that anime is so reliant on its tropes, like really reliant on having the same characters, plot points, and settings. Tropes are tools, but you can't throw sledgehammers around and call it a house. I know the arguments, this is a ripoff of that, or these are all the same, aren't constructive, but it truly feels like writers for manga and anime are compelled to fill a mold, either to be considered anime or, well, to be considered profitable. Preppy girl, big boob, big sister, snooty lady, too many characters, etc. Namely, we have so many girls, one has to be your type, so that you buy merch for them. All media has cliches. Borrowing the cliches of other mediums and genres can spice things up. Anime has influenced other animations, so has horror and noir and others. But anime nowadays is influenced by other anime. I'm going to make a metaphor. If all animations were canines, anime would be a purebred pug. Sure, it's cute, but it can't breathe with that flat face. Its eyes can actually pop out of its head, and it has a host of other problems simply because people wanted an infantile standard. Infantile. Hey, another pin while I change the topic. So I keep suggesting in this video that the term anime is bad and, yeah. Just how does making a distinction between cartoons and anime help anyone? They're both good things and have more in common than not. I know I've been harsh on anime, but American cartoons aren't flawless either. Big Mouth was allowed for crying out loud. Anyways, nothing is gained from separating cartoons like this. Well, one reason I've seen is the illusion of prestige. And by prestige, I mean elitism born from insecurity. Like something can't just not be anime, is not worthy to be anime. All American cartoons are childish, not like anime, which I like, so I'm not childish. It's the same discussion of walking sims not being worthy of being video games, or how casual fans who play on easy mode aren't real fans, is to preserve some proud integrity for consuming a product. Plus, the Pretty Cure franchise is great and it's for kids. But kid stuff doesn't have pervert pandering, so it doesn't get the love. Oh wait, it does have it! And would you look at those pins? There are a lot of anime that star adults that are perfectly fine to explore sexually if you really need to make not safe for work art. Even then, when drawing children, shouldn't you be able to keep it in your pants? Sure, it's just a drawing, in the same way that this is just a YouTube video that you can stop watching if it bothers you so much. In the same way that fans who draw or cosplay pale, thin, cisgender characters as something else aren't a big deal, but still get harassed. It's almost as if drawings, and fiction in general, affect people in reality. Maybe the fact that people who work on anime have been arrested for pedophilia, combined with how much denial fans have for anything anime related to be pedophilic in any way, is a red flag. An anime comes out where the plot is kickstarted with a false rape accusation. Some people find this uncomfortable, as rape victims are often accused of lying, which allows rapists to avoid consequences. Certain anime fans mock these people for getting worked up over fiction. Then it comes out that Vic Mignogna made sexual advances towards his underage fans and fellow voice actors for over a decade, and certain anime fans claimed those were false rape accusations. Another red flag. The age of consent in Japan is 13, but mostly in the sense that they can have sex with another teenager. And the fact that nearly every anime fan can recite this while ignoring the last part in order to imagine themselves as having a schoolgirl wife is also a red flag. I think a pattern is emerging. A big problem with anime, possibly the biggest one, is the community. If you're not a self-deprecating anime fan, then you're one of those fans, the neo-Nazis, the incels, the pedophiles, and everyone who defends them to avoid rocking the boat. They might not be the majority of anime fans, but they've certainly stuck their red flags in it. I'm so tired of geeks thinking that the nerds are the only oppressed minority, and that's why people hate them. No, it's just that people don't tolerate intolerance. Anime didn't invent the term trap to legitimize trans panic. That was fans. So, what then? Do we leave them in their anime alone to fester in their bigotry? No. Why should they get safe spaces to be hateful in peace? Hold them accountable for their hate, and get them banned from forums. They already claimed ownership over Scandinavia, even though actually studying it reveals how right-wing politics aren't welcome. We can't let them do the same to Japan, too. Weeboos love to claim Japanese media is apolitical, and when told otherwise, they say, you're just forcing your agenda. They don't have those topics there. But Japanese people have feminism, queer studies, class consciousness, and more. I know weebs love to infantilize East Asian people, but denying them the possibility of making intentional political statements because they're pure and innocent goofballs is... wow, that's a new low of Orientalism. There are people in Japan trying to live their lives and taking the time to write stories about love, same-gender love, love for humanity, self-love, even in the face of bigotry and authoritarianism, same as all over the world. That bigotry and the response to it might look different than what an American is used to, but that's because bigotry is like a bacteria with many strains adapting to persist and spread in any environment. And we should acknowledge leftist anime. Like Gundam was explicitly anti-war this whole time, there's anime and a lot of manga about being gay, trans, and even ace in a respectable way. Princess Jellyfish exists. And there are leftist anime fans as a result of this that we need to cooperate with, like YouTubers Pedantic Romantic, Zaria, and Joystick. And of course, we need solidarity with Japanese people, with or without ties to animation. That goes without saying, but I don't know any small leftist creators from Japan to promote. Media has value and power, which is why we have to acknowledge when it spreads harm. And there are a lot of problems with anime that fans dismiss as part of the deal. Don't let them. Voice your criticisms while applying others. And I can't wait to see High Guardian Spice because it looks cute and it makes bigots mad. It's like Fury Road and She-Ra all over again, where overreactive fans' hatred gave me a recommendation. That's about it for this video. Now don't forget, Stonewall was a riot against police brutality. No cops at Pride. No cops should exist, as they have been and always will be slave catchers. Oh, and like, comment, subscribe. Bye.